Hey you guys, it's Crystal from the Abundantly Blessed Homestead. It is Tuesday night at 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to make us a meal tonight. If you are new to the channel, we make nutrient-dense food here, and we give a live cooking class every Tuesday night to kind of show you how easy it is. It doesn't have to be complicated to make a nutrient-dense, kid-approved meal. Tonight we're going to be making some amazing sloppy joes. They're barbecue sloppy joes. We had these over the weekend, and they were so good. So tonight, putting them on some sourdough English muffins I made. I had this conversation with one of my other friends who makes sourdough now, and she's finding it hard to have time to be home to rise buns, and I said, just make English muffins then, because the English muffins in my cookbook, at the end you add baking soda anyway as a rising agent. And so even if you let it sit all day while you're at work, or even 12 hours or more, you add that baking soda and they're going to get fluffy no matter what. So that's what we're going to be using for buns tonight. All right. If you guys have not ordered the cookbook yet, the link is down below. It's still on sale, so check that out. There's also a ton of links down below to meal plans. There are a whole bunch of affiliate links, stuff for emu oil and cod liver oil and liver and all sorts of things. So check out all the links. They're down in the description box below. Roll past the ingredient list, okay? So as part of this recipe tonight, we're going to be making barbecue sauce. And that is actually in my cookbook. It's sugar-free barbecue sauce, only sweetened with your choice of honey or maple syrup. That's on page 34. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to have this big old cast iron skillet here. And I'm going to go ahead and preheat that over medium-high heat. Usually I don't take my cast iron over medium heat, and that's because if you take your cast iron over medium heat, you're going to wear out your natural non-stick coating you get from oil. And you can see this pan still has oil in it. And so I'd like to keep my cast iron under medium temperature or lower. But this is my gigantic cast iron. You guys can see compared to my hand, it's huge. And so my little burner is not big enough for it. So we're going to go ahead and go medium high on it just for a small amount of time just to get it preheated. And then we're going to start the barbecue sauce in the back pan. I have also started some French fries inside the oven as a side. Some nice steak fries. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. You never want to add your meat to a cold cast iron. That's how your meat ends up sticking to the bottom. It really doesn't matter how much seasoning you have on your pan if you are putting cold meat in a cold cast iron. So we're going to go ahead and warm that on up. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and make the barbecue sauce. So like I said, this recipe is inside my cookbook. But tonight I'm going to be making my own homemade tomato sauce. I've said this inside the past, that tomato paste is so much cheaper than tomato sauce. So if you just use one, what is this, 6 ounces? 6 ounce can of tomato paste, and you mix it with 9 ounces of filtered water, that is your 15 ounce or 16 ounce can of tomato sauce. So that's where we're going to start. If you already had the barbecue sauce already made up, then this would go really fast, which you totally could. I've made my barbecue sauce ahead and froze it before. I've also had it live in the fridge for longer than what I'd like to admit, and it was just fine. And I've also canned it. So if you wanted to make it ahead, that would make this a really quick meal. I didn't really think to make it ahead, and I thought, well, you guys probably want to watch me make the barbecue sauce anyway. It's not very hard. So again, this was 9 ounces of water and one 16-ounce can of tomato paste, which when mixed together makes 15 ounces of tomato sauce. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this pan back here on medium. And we're going to add the rest of the seasonings to that so it can start simmering, because the barbecue sauce needs to simmer around 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, so the next ingredient is raw apple cider vinegar. There's a bunch of different brands. Bragg's makes it as well. So we need 1/3 cup of raw apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to eyeball it, but you sure are welcome to measure it out. 3 tablespoons of maple syrup or honey. Tonight I'm going to go ahead and use maple syrup. There we go. Next ingredient is unsulfured molasses. We need 3 tablespoons of that as well. Hey, Jackie. Azure Standard sells, this doesn't say unsulfured on the label, but indeed it is unsulfured. They sell nice unsulfured molasses. 3 tablespoons. Like I said, I'm just eyeballing it, but you sure could measure it out. And just for Kathy, Worcestershire sauce. I still haven't made my own. I don't see my life getting any less crazy. So, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. If I just got all of the ingredients, I think I would do it. But I just haven't gotten all the ingredients. And so it just kind of sits since I just keep buying it. All right, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. There we go. We've got 1 teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to use smoked paprika. I actually started switching over to smoked paprika in my barbecue sauce recipes because it gives it that smoky flavor. So 1 teaspoon of that, and this is hot enough for some meat to get into this pan, so we're going to switch gears here for a second. So this is grass-fed beef from our local farmer. And the recipe actually isn't my recipe that I am making tonight. Somebody else's recipe off of the internet. It calls for 1.5 pounds of hamburger, but I have a 2-pound package, so we're just going to roll with it. All right. I'm going to wash my hands, you guys. Be right back. It is better with the light today. Wow. That usually doesn't happen. I'm also going to add a spoonful of lard since this is one of my drier pans. As far as my seasoning goes on my cast iron. I just don't use it enough. I need some more fat. And then 1 yellow onion. I'm going to chop this and add it. If the barbecue sauce was already made up, I mean, this could be such a quick meal. You could have dinner on the table in 20 minutes. But this sloppy Joe mix, when we tried it this last weekend for the first time, it was so good. My kids begged me to make it again. And so I thought, well, why not for the cooking class? Trying to remember the name of the, I got it off of Pinterest, so I'm trying to remember the name of the person who blogged it. I think it was called A Spoonful, if I remember right. Don't quote me on that. Alright, so we're just going to be sauteing this until the meat is fully cooked and the onions are nice and soft. So in the meantime, we stopped at paprika there, so I'm going to go ahead and get Dijon mustard for our barbecue sauce. 1 teaspoon. And I switched over to Azure Standard's new line of mustards and ketchup. I've been happy with them so far. Onion powder, 1 teaspoon. And like I said, this recipe isn't the cookbook. Under sugar-free barbecue sauce. It tastes really good. Healthy salt is the next ingredient, which is our colored salt. So you could use pink Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt, sea salt that's gray, real salt. All those things are all really good brands. We need half of a teaspoon. And I'm going to eyeball this because I've been putting way too much salt in our food lately. I kind of over-salted lunch. We had chicken salad sandwich, which with too much salt, it doesn't taste very good. And usually I don't salt my chicken salad sandwich and my egg salad sandwiches enough. And so I didn't know it was too salty, and so I didn't warn anybody not to add salt. And poor little Gracie, she got out the salt and added it to her food before we could find out that we didn't need to add salt. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the heat down on the skillet because remember I had turned it over medium-high heat. It's cast iron. We're going to go back down to medium now that this whole skillet is hot. And we are simmering away on the back, which is what we want. The last ingredient that the barbecue sauce recipe calls for is cayenne. I'm going to skip that in this recipe because this is more of a sweet, savory thing instead of a spicy thing. So we're just going to stop at that there. And this is going to simmer, like I said, a good 10 minutes or so, maybe 15. And it's going to thicken up as it simmers. It shouldn't need any thickener at all. It's just going to simmer and the extra liquid's going to cook on off into the atmosphere. This would be a good freezer meal as well. You could make up everything that we're doing tonight here and freeze it, and then simply thaw it and warm it up when you get home from work. I think that 2 pounds of meat might fit in I don't know if it would fit in a quart-sized bag or not, but you could just have baggies inside your freezer that were labeled barbecue sloppy joes. So that could totally work. All right. So then some of the other ingredients that the recipe calls for are broth. I'm going to be using chicken broth tonight. It really honestly doesn't matter what you use. If you don't have any broth, you could use filtered water. But the broth sure gives it a little bit of a flavor, which is nice. So I'm going to be using homemade chicken broth. Another ingredient that's called for is diced tomatoes. I'm going to be using half of this can here. This is 28 ounces. And then ketchup is also called for. I have my own homemade ketchup. This recipe is also in my cookbook in the very, very back. How to make it, how to can it, everything's right there for you. But this is my homemade ketchup from 2021. And we're going to use that in tonight's recipe. It kind of makes it a bit more of like a dump meal, which is an amazing thing on a hot summer day. All right, we're almost cooked over here. How's everybody doing out there? It's so warm here. It's almost 90 degrees. I am reminded of why I didn't want to bake anymore, but who can have sloppy joes without french fries? Our lettuce in our garden is not ready to harvest because otherwise I would do, like a side salad with sloppy joes. But it is not ready to go yet, so french fries it is. I've got my garden in. If anyone's interested in a garden tour, comment down below. I can take you guys through the garden. I could do that on a separate video, obviously. I was also thinking about doing a day in a life again. I haven't done one in a year, which is kind of crazy. I don't usually do them because they take a ton of editing. Because I try to record as much of my day as I can, and then cut out the unnecessary stuff because not everyone wants to sit and watch a 3-hour video. But I do have a lot going on right now. We finally finished planting the rest of the tomato plants for the year. Every year I would grow between 100 and 150 tomato plants. A lot of those being like Roma tomatoes so I could make my own tomato sauce. But because I bought Azure Standard's tomato powder, which I love, I'm going to cut down on my workload a little bit this year and not grow aromas at all. And so that reduced my tomato load, and I thought, well, if I just put in like 30 tomato plants, that's good, right? And so what ended up happening was I started planting my seed trays, and I have all these seeds that they're several years old and I should probably plant them and save the seed from them. And basically, I ended up with 97 tomato plants. Not really sure how that happened. So anyway, we planted, I gave away 4 of them. So we just finished planting, what is that, 93 tomato plants this week. Okay, so over here, it's bubbling here. And what we're looking for are rocket ships. It's gonna simmer, okay? But you can tell the little bubbles turn into rocket ships and like that, start splattering all over your kitchen. Then we are good to go. You can go ahead and shut it off. It's gotten thick enough. Even though it looks like it's going to be runny, it's not. Once it starts to cool, it will thicken right on up. So I'm going to remove this so it doesn't continue to throw sauce all over my white shiplap. All right, we're going to get ready to start dumping over here. And next week's cooking class is already up on the channel under a pre-scheduled event. So if you're one that typically looks for that so you can get groceries or so that you can click remind me, it's already up. I don't remember off the top of my head what we're making, but it's already up. All right, this is ready to go. So this is how fast this is going to come together. I'm going to go ahead and open up the diced tomatoes. And like I said, I'm only going to use half of my 28-ounce can because I only need 14 ounces. How's it going, buddy? Oh, William's coming in. I'm going to go drain this. It's actually supposed to be drained. We want to do some milk together? Okay, just a minute. Let Mama get this done, then we'll do our milk, I promise. Okay, half the jar, 14 ounces, 1 cup of broth. I might just eyeball this too. Yep. Half of a cup of ketchup. Okay, we'll go on in and go. I'll wait for you. Okay, once again, that's my homemade ketchup. I use broth and a half a cup of barbecue sauce. There we go. All right, let's stir it around. And we also need 1 more tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Here we go. You sure can skip the Worcestershire sauce if it's not something you want to consume, that's fine. But just know that it's not going to quite taste like store-bought because store-bought has has Worcestershire sauce in it. Okay, I'm going to leave this at a medium. Okay, hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I'm being summoned. How's it going, guys? Oh, you're silly. You didn't need me. All right. Oh, careful, buddy. You okay? Oh, don't fall over. Okay, so we're going to keep on simmering this. You going to come on out, buddy? Yeah. Okay. All right, and the last ingredient that I don't think made it onto the list on there is a half of a can of tomato paste. That's to thicken this up. We are still going to keep on simmering it. There we go. I'll have to go back and check the description box to make sure that that made it in there. I'm not sure it did. All right. There is that. Our comments really quick. There, Jackie, okay. Jackie says the 70s are down and all age from now on until 90s. Whew. Hey, Julie. Julie made it.
Hey, Julie.
Okay, hang on. We'll get you your stool and we'll get some milk going, okay? You don't want to have milk? Yes, you do. We didn't get to have milk last time because Mama's phone overheated again. All right, let me back the camera on up and we'll do our milk. Okay, hang on.
So it's unheated.
What?
Airphone unheated.
No, it's not going to overheat this time, I don't think. I did a YouTube update. Okay, so this is simmering away. Why don't you come right here? Don't touch this though, it's hot, okay? All right.
Why?
I'm going to get it because it's hot. Mama's cooking it. Mama's cooking. Do you feel how hot it is?
Yeah.
Buddy. We don't want to do that. All right, here comes the milk. We'll do our milk.
What is it?
That is going to be sloppy joes. We're just going to cook it till it thickens, yeah. What do you think?
It's gonna be on top of
Okay, let's get, you ready? Okay, hang on, let me see what, okay, you gonna try and open it? Okay, you try and open it. Oh, you got it. What a big boy. Oh, you're gonna lick it? I don't know if that's not the most sanitary thing, but whatever, okay. I'll wash it before we put it back on. Okay, this is yours.
Wash the lid with your lip.
No, I'm not gonna wash it with my liquor. I'm just gonna wash it into the sink.
This should be mine.
Okay, well we have your milk now. Do you see your milk? Okay, so you ready to drink it?
No, yeah.
There you go. That's cold. Don't drink it too fast. You'll get a headache.
Ooh.
You're gonna make me spit all my milk out. Wash it with your liquor. Isn't that awesome, Julie? You silly boy. Try now. Did you feel good today? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Are you playing outside?
Yeah. On a swing.
Oh, you having fun?
And we put that. No, from now.
How'd you get your face dirty? Not sure?
But soon gonna wash it off.
No, we'll wash it off. Okay, we'll do it later. So we're just simmering dinner back here until all the excess liquid cooks off, which is coming up here in just a few seconds, and then dinner's done. That's how easy that is.
Look.
Okay, look out, buddy. I don't want you to get burned.
Look.
Yeah, you got a milk mustache. Who's your favorite goat?
Lily.
You like Lily still?
Evie,
Yeah.
water goat milk.
You love the goat milk, no matter who it came out of?
Yeah.
Me
One
too.
of those goats.
You love all of those out there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Not the back.
I think that they are singing that song because they're wondering about where all their milk's going to. Do you know that song?
No.
You don't know? Jackie says hi, will you?
Hi.
So remember that cow song, that milk song that goes, how the cow was wondering where all her milk goes through. She's wondering where all her milk goes to. And so then she said, move over. Let me come inside. She said, move over. That's a whole lot of milk to hide. And then the song talks about how she went inside the house and saw all the little kids and how they're growing so tall. And then she figured out that it's because they were drinking her milk. You don't remember that song? Or are you just being shy? You do? Okay. Yeah, so the goats are probably wondering where all their milk's going to, right? It's going to William. William's getting big. All right. So that's all there is to dinner, you guys. Dinner's done. Like I said, I already made the sourdough English muffins ahead of time. We just got to cut them in half and serve this on it just like you would have done. And then our French fries are, well, probably about half done. And then it'll be time to eat.
I only touch this.
Yeah, don't touch it with it. That's hot.
Hey, I only touch with this.
I know, don't touch it with that though. It's hot. All right. Like I said, next week's class is already up here on the channel as a pre-scheduled event, so make sure you jump on over there and click the notify me button. And I'll see you guys next week. You guys have a great night. You gonna say bye?
Bye.
Okay, bye. Did you blow him a kiss, you little sweetheart?